Super intelligent AI models are now a commodity and everybody has access to them, and they are going to become even more commoditized. So right now, your competitive edge comes from the actual context that you are going to build for your models and how you are going to create an architecture around your proprietary knowledge. So let me just tell you a little bit more about this and how to do it properly. We are going to discuss the proprietary context edge and why your AI looks like everyone else's. If you and your competitor just use the same flagship models, you are going to get the same common output. But the companies pulling ahead aren't using better AI. They are feeding it richer, more proprietary inputs. So you as an AI leader can build this architecture around AI by providing it with customer insights, internal databases, operational logs, proprietary research, unstructured data, and only then you feed it to LLM. You create this architecture for your business, so you have a huge repository of knowledge, and then you finally get this differentiated value and competitive edge. So you can just ask this one question audit: if your competitor accessed your prompts and LLM, could they create the same result? If yes, your AI stack just looks like an edge, but it doesn't have an edge, it's just generic. But if no, if you really have included some proprietary data here, then your AI stack has a real contextual advantage, and this is what is going to actually give you that competitive edge. So in other words, your competitive advantage doesn't come from the model used, because pretty soon everybody will have access to these superhuman models, and they will be still feeding public prompts or generic prompts or just typing prompts from zero. But if you have these super intelligent models and then you feed it with your data and context, your outputs are going to be significantly better. I really liked this article from HubSpot about the AI race not being about models or data, but about context. I think that once in your company you have enough skills around AI and people can actually use these different models, then the next step, and of course you are equipped with all of the top models, the next step is about building that context layer that is going to make all of the difference in your day-to-day operations. They list different types of context: business context, team context, process context, customer context, and network context. Questions you can ask about your use of AI: can it capture and act on the full picture? Is context maintained automatically? Is it built for growth, and does it compound over time? When I began my journey with AI, I would just start typing prompts from zero or voice typing prompts from zero into the LLMs. But now I have built a sophisticated architecture with Claude Code where it has all of the context around me, my business, what I'm doing, what I'm trying to achieve, and it has access to proprietary data, various skills that I have built out and tested over time that are truly significant for my particular activities. So this is the true differentiator, and not just the intelligence of the AI model that you are going to use. Most people just go with generic inputs, then they choose the AI model thinking that the model itself is going to save them, and then they get a commodity output. But if you use this proprietary data and build the context layer for your super intelligence that you are using in your business, and then on top of that you use a super intelligent model, then finally you get that differentiated output. I cannot stress this enough. That's why I also like what Atlassian has been doing with their raw models, because, for example, And Google is also doing something similar. You can do it also on Notion and other things like that. But basically, the idea is that you already have all of this information. Most of this information is already available for your organization. It lives in different silos, though. For example, like if you are using the Atlassian suite, it would be Confluence, Jira, and all of these other tools like Loom and everything else. But now they have created a way for you to connect all of this data around basically the teamwork graph. The AI can pull from all sorts of sources within your organization safely, which is going to be like this true competitive edge for companies. So you could think about it in terms of context moat strength. If you have proprietary transcripts and conversion data, historical campaign data, persona docs, brand guidelines, but also all of the records of the work that your team is currently doing. For example, the Jira boards, the Google Docs, access to Gmail, access to Google Calendar, access to Notion via MCP or these third-party connectors. This is the true way to gain competitive advantage. Google is also working on something like this. You can bring the best of Google AI to every employee for every workflow. So if an organization lives on Google Workspace, you can give Gemini access to your whole organization, and then it will be able to pull from internal docs and give you that competitive edge. Here's a real thing to think about over the next few days. You can connect all of your internal sources to AI to get much richer context. These services already exist, or you can build a custom repository with Cloud Code or something like that. But the real issue is that your organization's data is not ready for AI to retrieve that information successfully because everything is randomized, duplicated, scattered. Your information is not prepared for the AI to be able to properly gain that context from your organization. I think one of the major things that all smaller and medium companies, but also larger companies should do right now is to do a huge audit of all of the information sources within the company and all of the stuff that this AI context layer will touch, and then just simplify, make sure that everything is machine readable, and try not to create randomized and duplicated pieces of information across the company, and have one source of truth for the projects and stuff that you are working on. So then you are actually going to get proper information. I think every company right now is due for a major informational cleanup. And now a couple of rapid fire news from around the world of AI and digital marketing. First, Google Ads drops display and video planning from Performance Planner. This is pretty crazy. Google is shifting away from impression-based planning, pushing advertisers toward more conversion-focused strategies. And the same thing happens around organic search, where they will stop showing the impressions because AI overviews obliterated impressions. I mean, they obliterated clicks. So now clicks and impressions are completely decoupled. So it doesn't make any sense to show these impressions anymore. Meta introduced Spark, Muse Spark. This is the new proprietary model from the Meta Labs. It's a closed model, but it's doing really well on the benchmarks. It's going to be implemented across all Meta products. Will have this AI layer on top of your Instagram feed, for example. This is going to be huge for social media marketing. Anthropic continues shipping stuff. So they have just released scaling managed agents. There's also a really cool story about Cyber Agent from OpenAI. Basically, they have achieved 93% monthly active usage of ChatGPT Enterprise. So of course, this is a flex from OpenAI, but the story itself is really interesting. Next, we have this story from Social Media Examiner about ads and AI and leveraging AI creative in 2026, where anyone can create content, video content, ad content with AI. The main differentiator is going to be testing and creating as many of these creatives as possible. If you want to gain more knowledge about digital marketing and AI, visit my website, rafalreyzer.com. I have all of these stories written out here for you with links to sources. Feel free to check them out. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to see you in the next one.